Welcome into New Orleans Saints now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and we are live for the second week in a row. Be sure to like the video, get in the comment section. Let's get this thing popping because we want the entire Who Dat Nation to be hanging out with us. We're going to be talking a lot of fun things, some Derek Carr updates, quarterback targets if the Derek Carr situation doesn't pan out to him ending in New Orleans, and a hell of a lot more. And we're also taking some questions. But if you are ready to talk some Saints football, I want you in the comment section spamming the chat with me. Let me know. Type me in the comment section. Sound off. We got Larry Holmes in the chat. We got Sunday O'Sullivan, Max. Let's get the me's in the chat. Type me. We'll get some shout-outs going. It's Poppy typing who dat. Andrew Coleman asking Trace, do you think we'll end up with Derek Carr? I'll get to that in a little bit, brother. I will. I'll answer that question here shortly. Parker Hayes is ready to talk some Saints football. He's typing me. Jeremy Gates, he's typing his me's. Ed Creel, he's typing me. Seth Centipede, good to see you. I saw you in the comment section earlier this week. Appreciate you for watching those videos. Andrew Coleman, he's ready to talk some Saints football. Eric Howard, we got the gang. We got the squad. As y'all know, if you want to donate, you want to help out and support the show, feel free to send a super chat. We'll get some beers, cheers going for you guys. We'll have some fun. Last week, we had a lot of fun, and towards the end of it, it kind of got out of hand. I stumbled my way home. It was awesome. So if we want to get that happening, let's get the super chats rolling. But anyway, Derek L. typing who dat, Seth typing me, Eric typing me. Love to hear it, guys. Do you bleed black and gold? Let me know. I mean, I got this shirt. I got the Pearly shirt from New Orleans. Crawfish on there, different colors. It's the Saints colors. Tell me the shirt ain't fresh because it's fresh. I'm bleeding black and gold. Type who dat in the comment section. I got producer Seatman rolling with me on the ones and twos. It's going to be a hell of a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun today. It's also going to be a blast. So be sure, go down, type who dat if you bleed black and gold. And also hit the thumbs up icon. 51 people in here watching. Drop a like on this video. Let's get to 20 likes here in the next minute because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, fellas. Jose's ready to talk. Seth says, I've been waiting for this all day. Jeremy, TBH, I'm not really sure about Derek Carr. Hey, Jeremy, brother, I got some thoughts on that as well. And honestly, a lot of people agree with you, man. A lot of people agree with you. Jerry Ristine, did we get Derek Carr yet? Not yet. Could be happening soon, though. Could be happening very, very soon. Courtney Burgess, if I have that wrong, incorrect, I'm so sorry. Correct me in the comments. She says who dat. Andrew's typing who dat. James is typing who dat. She's ready to go. All right, let me know. It's a who dat nation. It's not a who dat little squad. It's not a who dat team. It's a who dat nation. Fan base, worldwide, nationwide. It's the best fan base in the entire country, in all of sports. There is only one nation. The Raiders will say it's them, but I'm here to tell you it's the damn Saints. So where you're watching from, let me know. We're tuned in here from the headquarters of Chat Sports in Dallas, Texas. I am from Dallas, Texas. I grew up in the Dallas area. Born in Texas. I bleed Louisiana blood. Got it in the genes. Got it in the seasoning. Got it in the food. I got it all. Love the Saints. Let me know where you're watching from. Here in Cowboy Hell, Fort Worth. Jeremy, I live in Fort Worth. No shit. Jeremy, let's hit the stockyards and go get hammered tonight. Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. Courtney's watching from the Gump down in Bama. From Florida for 41 who dat 9. I'd rather have Hendon Hooker from Tennessee or the kid out of Florida. Yeah, Anthony Richardson, both really good player. Princeton, Texas, Eric Howard. I think I told you this last time. My family lives out in Melissa, so pretty close to that. Love that, man. Thank you for tuning in. Jeremy says, don't tempt me, bro. Jeremy, one thing about me, I ain't ever scared of a good time. Let's go. Shoot me a DM. Let's go. I ain't scared. We got Greenville, Texas, sitting at work. Parker Hayes. Andrew Coleman says, if we don't get Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, maybe we should let Taysom Hill run things. That's also an option. It's also a good option. Mr. Understood saying, who dat nation, no doubt. Peter Reidman, who dat from Oregon. Mikey, the legend, the real one, Taylor, watching from West Virginia. Connecticut from L.A. Fricks. Bottom of the boot from Chiefs fan. We love to see it. Guys, let me know in the comment section, do you want the Saints to sign Derek Carr? I know a lot of people have been talking about it. I know a lot of people have been mentioning it. There's been some Baker Mayfield buzz as to whether or not he would make sense for the Saints if it doesn't work out. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. Seth just made some crawfish fettuccine for lunch, boys. Seth, I'm coming to your house. I'm coming to your crib. We had this place called Bread Zeppelin. It's like sandwiches. It's like a salad. And they hollow out like a hoagie. Throw the fixings and shit in there. It's so good, man. It's so good. But I'd kill for some crawfish fettuccine. San Antonio. A lot of people are typing Y for yes, they want the Saints to sign Derek Carr. Inevitable, saying you're not the quarterback for 9 years of any franchise if you're not good. You don't have any job for 9 years and be bad at it. I'm just saying. Politicians are the exception, but I'm just saying. Any job you have for 9 years, you're probably all right at. Just saying. Yes, but I F with Baker, so Boomer sooner from Parker. No worries, bro. No worries. Yes, man, if we don't get Derek Carr after 2 visits, I'm going to be a little bit pissed. Dude, that would be a very similar situation to the Deshaun Watson where he visited and toyed around with it. And then we don't want that happening. We don't want that happening. Peyton saying, will Cam Jordan leave? I do not think that Cam Jordan will ever leave. He has said it on multiple times on Twitter. He's a Saint. He will be a Saint through and through. It's going to be a great time. Trace, Can ready my last post, and I think you're great. Hey, Larry, I appreciate it. I think you're great too. Let me know. Do you want Derek Carr on the Saints? Do you want him to sign him? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Jamie saying, who dat? Big Saints fan from Louisiana. Shout out Jamie Doyle. Courtney saying, I don't want Dennis Allen's old Raiders staff. Yeah, get the Chiefs offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy, man, I don't know if he's leaving. It seems like the Saints are rolling with Pete Carmichael. They're not going to make any changes to the offensive coordinator position, unfortunately. Seems like we might have to run it back and see what happens, but we'll see. We'll see. Let us know. Do you want Derek Carr? Y for yes, in for no. And also, we are having a mailbag at the end of today's show. Well, in about 40 minutes, we're going to take questions from all of you who are watching. So if you want to get in on the show, easiest way to do that, hashtag Saints, ask your question. Or you can super chat. It's like the fast pass at Six Flags, Disney World, wherever you like to vacation. You get to skip the line. We put your question up first. I'll go in depth on it a little bit more. I'll give some more thoughts, some more analysis on it, and I'll give a more like a better answer and a better analysis rather than just kind of looking at it, reacting, and then moving on to the next one. Super chat. Use hashtag Saints. Ask your questions. You can also just give a take. You can ask anything from Saints to my personal life to anything. Just let me know. I'm here to chop it up with the Who Dat Nation and get to know some of you guys because I'm still new to this whole hosting thing. I'm still learning and still trying to figure it out and trying to meet all you guys. So I want y'all to ask some questions about the Saints, ask some questions about anything, get a super chat in. We'll have a lot of fun if we get some super chats. We had some fun. Producer Seeps and I, we were having a good time last week. It was got out of hand. I did not drive home. We'll just leave it at that. Producer Seatman does need you to use hashtag Saints to ask your questions. Otherwise, we cannot pull the question. You actually get up on the show. There's a graphic. Like this whole thing would be you. You have your name right here, your picture, your question. Really easy way to get featured. Let it help out my guy, Producer Seeps. Use hashtag Saints or Super Chat. And also, 79 people watching, 30 likes. I'm going to set a timer. If we can get to 50 likes in the next 2 minutes, if we can get to 50 likes in 2 minutes, that is 30 likes. We're going to start off the show, or we're going to start the next segment with a shot, all right? We need everyone to hit the thumbs up icon, like the video. If we get more likes on it, we get more of the Who Dat Nation in here, we get more people hanging out, we get more people having a good time, and we can all talk about the Saints, we can all chop it up about Derek Carr, we can chop it up about Todd McShay's mock draft, which we're going to break down here shortly. So please help us out. Hit the thumbs up icon. 74 people watching, 33 likes. We got a minute and a half into our shot clock. If we get to 100 likes or 50 likes, we're only about 15 away. We're only about 12 away now, 37 likes. I'm taking some shots. It's going to be a good time. Hit the thumbs up icon. Like today's video. If you love the Saints, if you're ready for the real show to start, if you bleed black and gold, 42 likes. We got a minute left. Let's see what happens. If you're ready, also type me if you're ready to go. Type me if you're ready to get this thing started. Like the video and type me because we're trying to make this the #1 spot to get all of your Saints news, all of your Saints rumors, and the easiest way for us to make that happen is if you like the video, more people will see the show, more people will be able to join us, get informed in a very analytical but also entertaining way because at the end of the day, we're YouTubers. We're trying to have a little bit of fun here. We're trying to have a good time. Jahari liked the video. Courtney liked the video. Mikey liked the video. Ed liked it. James liked it. Mark Thank you for using hashtag Saints and asking a question. I also saw Jeremy used hashtag Saints and asked a question. 3 likes, 20 seconds. Can it get done? Can we make it happen? Larry liked the video. Are we going to make it happen? We're about to break down the latest Saints news and rumors in about 15 seconds. If we can get the likes on today's video, we're breaking it down. If we hit it sooner, we'll go down. We'll start breaking it down sooner. So help us out. Help us out. I love the Falcons. That's 2 guaranteed wins. Facts. Every single year, even in bad years, it's wins. All right, 51 likes. Let's break this whole thing down. We're going to start off with talking about Todd McShay's mock draft. We're going to talk a little bit about some salary cap news, and then Cameron Jordan was recruiting Derek Carr on Twitter last night. Going to break it all down here for you. Be sure to stick around. Use hashtag Saints to get up on the show. Without further ado, let's talk some New Orleans Saints football. Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and on today's show, we have some juicy news and rumors to break down. But before we get into that, I want you guys to all help me out and subscribe to the channel. If we get to 15,000 subs at the end of the offseason, our bosses said that we are going to have the greatest party on a live show of all time. You will also get Saints news, rumors, draft coverage, all sorts of fun stuff throughout the offseason. So help us out. Subscribe today if you bleed black and gold. All right, let's get started. So today, we're going to start the show off by breaking down Todd McShay's mock draft 2.0, released earlier this morning. Saints now have a first-round pick after trading Sean Payton's rights to the Denver Broncos. You're going to be picking at number 29 overall. And without further ado, the Saints have selected, bam, Keion White, defensive tackle out of Georgia Tech. Todd McShay explained why he thinks that this would be a good pick. And here's what he had to say. The Saints got back in round 1 with the Sean Payton trade and have a chance to land a replacement for Marcus Davenport if the veteran pass rusher departs in free agency, which seems likely given the Saints salary cap situation. White is coming off a 7.5 sack season and just had a good week in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl. The pass rush was a strength for New Orleans last season, 48 sacks, tied for 5th across the NFL. However, Cameron Jordan is turning 34, and defensive tackle David Onyemata is scheduled to join Marcus Davenport in free agency. And so, a little bit about Keion White. He started off at Old Dominion. He's been in college for 5 years now, transferred to Georgia Tech, and let me tell you, I watched some tape on this kid. The dude's a gamer. The dude just loves the game of football. You can tell. He's across the board. He's all over the field. He's all over every play. 54 tackles on the year for the Yellow Jackets, 7.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. The guy disrupts the backfield more than anything, and that is why I love it. Because when you take a look at the Saints defensive line depth chart, you can see a lot of guys are leaving in free agency. If you see the asterisk next to them, that means they're going to be free agents this upcoming offseason. So with Shy Tuttle being a guy who's leaving in free agency, I think that the Saints should go and re-sign David Onyemata. Cameron Jordan thinks the same thing. Going to break that down here shortly. But Keion White could plug in next to David Onyemata on the defensive line to help cause some traffic, cause some problems, get in the backfield, and terminate offensive drives for the opposing team. I think that Keion White is a very talented player. I want to see a little bit more from him. I'm excited to see how he tests at the combine. I think that he could definitely have his draft stock raised throughout the offseason as draft things happen through the offseason. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's all about you. Should the Saints draft Keion White? Be the GM. Put your GM hat on for me and let me know. Type D for draft. Type P for pass. Let me know in the comment section. Just a little bit more about Keion White if you don't know whether or not you want to sign him. Here's his draft profile. His scouts grade from NFL Scouts, 86. His positional rank for defensive tackle, 3rd overall. Overall rank, 38th overall. Pretty solid value, I'd say, picking at 29th overall. There's a handful of very talented defensive linemen and defensive interior guys that can go in the draft this year. So I think that getting Keion White at 29th overall would be some good value, and I think that it would be very interesting. So next things next, Cam Jordan. He does what he does best, being the greatest recruiter in all of sports, in all of Louisiana. He took to social media last night, took to Twitter to try and recruit Derek Carr to the Saints. And here is what he said. There's a couple tweets. It's three tweets, and we're going to kind of just show you the progression of what happened. So I know I said adios to social media, but at Derek Carr, I know it may be too soon, but it's also Valentine's Day. Are you trying to swap out black and silver and fall in love with black and gold? And we all know that, gold, silver, one of them's first place, one of them's second place. Do the math. I'm just going to say that. But then he quote tweeted it with this picture of Derek Carr. We've all seen it. We all know it. We all love it. It looks great. It's dope at it. He wants Derek Carr as a Saint. He took this picture and tweeted it and then followed it up with this. And this is where every single time I talk about Cameron Jordan or I watch Cameron Jordan, I just fall in love with him that much more. Listen to what he had to say for his offseason plan and tell me if it sounds kind of familiar. Get a great veteran quarterback, draft Hendon Hooker, bring back David Onyemata, and draft Jalen Carter somehow, the lineman out of Georgia. He's going to go top 5. It's going to be tough to get him, but this is exactly what I've been saying. If you have been subscribed, if you've been tuned into any video that we have done throughout the offseason, you know this is exactly what I've been trying to say. Despite the Saints being a suitor for Derek Carr, you still should go draft a quarterback like Hendon Hooker in the NFL draft this year so you can have somebody to develop and grow under Derek Carr. You also need defensive line help, and I think that Jalen Carter, he's the best one you're going to get in this draft. You're going to have to trade up to the top 5. Can it be done? Maybe, probably not, but maybe. And what I'll say is, everything that Cameron Jordan has been saying, re-sign David Onyemata. We've been saying that this entire time. Cameron Jordan, thank you for tuning in to Saints Now by Chat Sports and sharing what I've been trying to say, because at this point, I don't think Mickey's going to listen to me, and I think he might have a better chance of listening to you. But also, guys, I want to tell y'all all about an awesome deal we have going on at Fanatics. Going to tell y'all a little bit more about the offseason and some plans that Cameron Jordan mentioned. But you can get geared up for next season at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. We have any jersey, any player, any color that you want. You can get your Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Olave, Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, Color Rush, white jersey. We don't have the throwback black one with the stripes that they wore against the Rams. That's one of my favorite jerseys. I think it's so clean. But we have all the other ones. You can get your own gear at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. That link will be in the comment section and in the description of today's video. Go get yourself geared up for the next season. All right, so to discuss what Cameron Jordan had to say, David Onyemata, he's a guy I definitely want to see the Saints bring back in free agency. Towards the second half of the season, I think he did a lot of really good things and showed a lot of, not growth, but showed that he can be somebody that the Saints defensive front can rely on. With 43 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, David Onyemata tore it up on the defensive line. And Jalen Carter, we were talking about him just a minute ago. 25 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 pass breakups. I mean, I don't know what to say. The guy is just an animal. 6'3", 300 pounds out of Florida. The guy he's good at football. He's really good at football. The Saints are going to have to try and trade up if you want to go and draft Jalen Carter. I'm not saying it can't be done. I very much so doubt that that'll happen. But I would love to see the Saints bring in a talented defensive lineman like Siaki Ika, Brian Breesy, the guy at a Pitt. The name's skipping me, but there's a guy at a Pitt that I really like as well. And I think that these are all options that the Saints should explore. But I want you to let me know, what move do you think the Saints need to make this offseason? Like, what move do you want to see them make? And it can be anything. Draft a quarterback, sign Saquon Barkley, trade for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care. It can be whatever you want it to be. Let me know in the comment section, what move do you want the Saints to make this offseason? All right, and to round out today's show, it has begun. The front office for the New Orleans Saints has begun to restructure their contracts for some of their players, and the most notable one was Marcus May. I think this is setting them up to make some more moves in order to make a bigger, move, like signing a Derek Carr, like going and shopping in free agency to be able to bring in some talented players. This coming in from Field Yates earlier this morning. The question to getting under the cap has begun. The Saints have converted $6 million of safety Marcus May's 2023 compensation into a signing bonus, creating $4.856 million in cap space per source. And part of this is because he's going to face a little bit of suspension. He's going to get paid either way. Like, all of this is like good news for the Saints. It opens up about $5 million of cap space. So this puts the Saints about $55 million over the cap. Things can still be done. A lot of things can happen. And I think that the Saints are gearing up to make some moves. And I expect the Saints to be making a lot of these cap maneuvering moves in the coming days and over the next few days and possibly next week, because I know the longer Derek Carr is out on the free agent market, the more likely, or the more meetings he's going to have, the more likely it's going to be that he can talk to other teams. He can, talk about contracts, talk about getting paid a little extra. And these are just things that the Saints, if they're serious about getting Derek Carr, need to address as soon as possible. That way they can make it happen. I expect some cap maneuvering moves to be made over the next few days. But I want you guys to drop a like on today's video if you're excited for this Saints offseason. It's already been crazy. It's already been a hell of an offseason with the Sean Payton trade, Derek Carr rumors. There's a hell of a lot more that's going to happen. Is Michael Thomas going to stay? Are the Saints going to bring back Jameis Winston? It's going to get crazy. So be sure to like this video if you're excited for all of the offseason buzz. And also, stay connected, stay up to date. If you don't want to get your updates from here, you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at TraceGirouard48. I'm posting about the Saints every single day. Love chopping it up with you guys. And like I said, if you like getting your videos on YouTube, but you want more immediate updates, I'm always posting on my Twitter and my IG. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. I'll catch you next time. All right, let me know. Do you want the Saints to sign Derek Carr? We also have 116 people watching, 70 likes on today's video. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Thank y'all for liking today's video. Let me know in the comment section. Do you want the Saints to sign Derek Carr? Sorry, my ear's getting sweaty. I had to give it a nice little itch. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. Mikey Taylor using hashtag Saints, getting a question in. I like that. Getting lingo trace. I agree with what you said. Appreciate you, Larry. No Carr. He won't get us to a Super Bowl. He hasn't won in the playoffs. Fair statement. He hasn't won in the playoffs. But I can't say neither, but what else is out there? Like, what free agent quarterbacks are out there? We're gonna break. It's just kind of have. And I'll get into my thoughts here shortly. I'm not saying he's a great option. I'm not saying he's amazing. I'm not saying he's going to be a game changer. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy who takes his team to back-to-back Super Bowls. But can you realistically tell me if the Saints sign Derek Carr, he won't be a top 4, top 5 quarterback in the NFC? I mean, I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks that are better. Jalen Hurts? Dak, kind of. Not really, but kind of. Jared Goff, maybe? He's definitely better than, I'd rather have Derek Carr over, you're not going to get a Brock Purdy, but I'd rather have Derek Carr over Brock Purdy purely off the experience aspect. Jimmy G, no. Trey Lance, he sucks, no. It's just, let me know. Type YVS, type in for now. Peyton saying draft Tyjae Spears and get Derek Carr. That is my dream. That is my dream. Oh, my God, I would cry if that happened. I might be an emotional man on the draft night. I'm not kidding, because if we can get Tyjae Spears in New Orleans, that alone will make me cry. I want him in New Orleans so badly. We can get one in the draft from Thomas. True. But can you what quarterback can you pick at number 29 overall that you can be confident in to be a week 1 starter? That's my argument. That's my whole argument. Draft Hendon Hooker, Tyjae Spears, and Siaki Ika, from Larry Holmes. Personally think Jared Goff is better than Derek, but that's just me. You have reason to believe that. You have reason to believe that. It's fair. All right. Like some of y'all have been doing, use hashtag Saints or Super Chat to ask a question. We're trying to get you guys involved. We're trying to get you guys on the show. We want y'all to be a part of it. So the best way you can do that, use hashtag Saints, ask questions like Larry, like Seth, like Courtney, like Teddy did. We're going to get you guys all featured on the show. If you Super Chat, we can get you featured before them. You skip the line. We're going to give a lot more analysis, a lot deeper of a dive on it. So if you want to help out, support what we're doing here, support me, support the channel. Let's see. No, he's not. Be sure to use hashtag Saints to get involved in the show. Chris is typing who dat. Thomas Dement typing Tyjae Spears. It's gonna be a good time. I really hope that he's a Saint. I really hope he's a Saint. I would be so. Payton. Not that I've seen, man. Not that I've seen. I saw he was a Purdue coach. It's a good question, though. We can get it featured on the show. Get it featured in the mailbag. Hashtag Saints. Should we use our first and second round pick for a running back? Seth, good question. I'll get into that later. Feel free to send a super chat within the show or within the next about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to be breaking down some quarterbacks that the Saints could go after. Let's discuss it. Welcome into New Orleans Saints now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and today we're discussing the top quarterback options if the Saints miss out on Derek Carr. But before we get into that, I want you guys to let me know, do you even want the Saints to sign Derek Carr? Not saying should they, I'm saying do you want them to? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know in the comment section. But without further ado, I want to break down some quarterback options. Yes, and this is going to be the one that y'all are all going to be in love with, Lamar Jackson. Yep. Could he be a New Orleans Saint? I don't know. Probably not, but it could happen. Currently, right now, Lamar Jackson odds are showing the Falcons plus 300, Bucks are plus 500, and some sources are saying that offensive coordinator candidates who interviewed with the Ravens were not given full assurances that Lamar Jackson will be the quarterback next season. Baltimore was clear that they want Lamar back, but truly doesn't know what the offseason holds for their quarterback. Completion percentage, 62.3 completion percentage, 2,242 yards in the air, 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, 112 carries for 764 yards and 3 touchdowns on the year. Lamar Jackson is a quality football player, and I can honestly say this. I'm actually terrified, and I'm very worried that he might end up in the NFC South. I could see the Falcons. I've seen a lot of buzz around them. Weirdly enough, Falcons fans kind of have, like our guy Nick Roloff, our channel manager for the Falcons channel we have here at Chat Sports, has been saying a lot of Falcons fans want to run it back with Desmond Ridder. And I just have to say that that's hilarious. I'm just going to laugh at the Falcons fans. If you want to join me, type LOL in the comments. Because how could you realistically say you want Desmond Ridder over Lamar Jackson? I'm worried that he might end up in the NFC South. I could see the Bucks, Panthers, and the Falcons all going in on him or trying to go get him. Panthers, not as much because they do have a high draft pick. They might be able to get a guy like Will Levis, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young if one of those guys fall. But I'm worried Lamar Jackson can end up in the NFC South, and that would not be good news for the Saints. So maybe you go and get him. Next one's on the list. There's been some buzz about Baker Mayfield, some articles and some tweets going out saying that if the Saints don't bring in Derek Carr, if things don't work out, they should turn to the former Oklahoma Sooner in Baker Mayfield, who spent last year part of the season with the Panthers, was traded to the Panthers, in the offseason, was cut by the Panthers during the season, was brought in by the Rams towards the end of the season, 60% completion percentage, 2,163 yards, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I just don't know if Baker's that guy. I think he'd be a good culture fit. I think he'd be somebody that you could have a lot of fun with. I just don't know if he's somebody who will help you win games. And also, I don't know if he's a guy that you can really ride to help you tank. Like, if that makes sense. I don't think he's bad enough of a quarterback to have you go and tank, but I don't think he's a good enough quarterback to go and have you make a playoff run. Probably not, though. I'm not crazy about Baker Mayfield. Jimmy G, though, he's another name on this list that I think might be interesting. And I think that he's a guy that the Saints should definitely go and explore. Before he got hurt this season, 67.2 completion percentage, 2,437 yards in the air, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, And I just think that Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those guys that he's a game manager. He's not going to be the reason you lose games. He's not really going to be the reason you win games. He's going to do exactly what he's done his entire career and be good enough. He's going to manage the field. He's going to manage the offense. He's going to manage the flow of the game. And he's going to make the Saints, or he's going to help the Saints produce and do things. Not great, not bad. I just think I think that he could be somebody who you could be realistic with and also have a little bit of fun with. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section. And I meant to have 3 people on this list. So let me know. If you pick a quarterback, type DC if you would rather have Derek Carr. Type BM if you would rather have Baker Mayfield. And type JG if you would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo. Let me know in the comment section. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break. If you do, sound off with your thoughts in the comments. All right, this one is interesting. I brought this trade idea up earlier this offseason, and it got very mixed reviews. I got a lot of people saying, it ain't ever happening. I got a lot of people, oh my God, drop everything you're doing and make this happen yesterday. Please, for the love of God. And this, I bring him up as a trade target because Jason LaConfora, if I have the pronunciation incorrect, I'm so sorry, y'all. But he said more than one NFL GM came away from the Senior Bowl fairly convinced that Justin Fields will be dealt. And this came in early this morning. Colin Cowherd also spoke on Justin Fields. He said, you really have to think about this and put your pom-poms down in Chicago. Is moving off Justin Fields, here's why. In 2 years, he's been bad and bad. In 2 years, he completes 59%, has a passer rating under 80, has 24 touchdowns and 21 picks. It's bad. And I think that Justin Fields, to play devil's advocate, he has no offensive line. He has no wide receiver help. He has nothing that you can really do to help him be better. All he can really do to show off right now is show how good of a runner he is because he's running for his life every single freaking play. I think the Saints could potentially try and go make a trade for Justin Fields. It would cost you an arm and a leg and probably then some. But if you want somebody like Justin Fields, I think that he fits the mold exactly what the Saints have been saying they want in a dual threat quarterback. So another guy who fits that mold, Trey Lance. And to be honest, y'all, I'm not that high on Trey Lance. I think that Trey Lance, I'm not going to say certified bust, but I'm not going to say he's going to be good. Like, the guy had very limited starts since his time in high school. He's played less than 50 games since he started college football. Just saying. And these are the numbers that he's putting up. Obviously, he got hurt very early on. He obviously is a player that has a lot of upside, has a lot of talent. I just don't know if I trust Trey Lance to be the guy, and you'd have to give up a good haul for him because of how young he is and because of the draft capital that the Niners had to give up to ultimately select him at, I believe, number 3 overall. Trey Lance could be an interesting name. I'm not high on it, but it could happen. Who Dat Nation, subscribe if you love the Saints. If you bleed black and gold, this is the number one place to be. We're breaking down news, rumors, draft coverage, and a hell of a lot more. We're going to be providing videos all offseason, so be sure, subscribe, lock us in, turn on your notifications, and join our Who Dat Nation. Join our squad and have some fun this offseason. Get some entertaining and informative analysis. All right, next name on the list, Jacoby Brissett. This is somebody who I think that, honestly, he's I don't want to say a last case scenario or a worst case. Like, I'd rather go Jacoby Brissett than somebody just not good, like just terrible. Like, I'd rather go Andy Dalton over Jacoby Brissett, but Jacoby Brissett still played well when he was with the Browns. I have my reasonings for Andy Dalton. I'll explain those later. But Jacoby Brissett is a talented football player. He did some good things for the Browns while he was filling in, while Deshaun Watson was facing his suspension. 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 64 completion percentage, 2,608 yards in the air. He's a bridge quarterback. That's exactly what he is. That's exactly what he will be. He's not your long-term answer, and he's a guy that, you get maybe 1-2 years out of him. That being said, guys, if you want to get stocked up for the next season or third of the offseason, if you got some fun darties, got some crawfish boils, you got some fun things that you're trying to do this offseason, get geared up at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. You will get all authentic Nike jerseys. They are legit. They're 100% real. We got Chris Olave. We got Alvin Kamara. We got Cam Jordan, Demario Davis. We got anybody. Taysom Hill, name them. We got them. You can get any size, any color jersey. Go get your gear at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. I'll have that link for you in the comment section and the description of this video. All right, another name that I have mentioned in previous years or previous videos in the offseason and even dating back to last season during the regular season, Gardner Minshew. the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, lost to the Saints. Let's not forget about that. Let's just remember the fact that the Saints beat the Eagles. Just going to rub that one in for you real quick. Just under 60% completion percentage, 663 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 5 games. It's not that great. I think that he's exactly what I said about Jacoby Brissett. He's a bridge guy. He'd bring a lot of energy. Like, you can't deny that he would bring a lot of energy. I think that he's just one of those players that he's not, like, the Minshew Mania thing is fun. But that's, you get that, once every blue moon. You're not going to get that consistently, which is why I think that you should maybe look elsewhere for a quarterback. I like Gardner Minshew. I don't love him, but I think that he would be an interesting guy in New Orleans. Here's one that's going to, make your moms really pissed off. Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson could be traded. The Jets, as we know, they're interested in pursuing Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr right now. They have a very good situation where they have a lot of young offensive weapons, similar to the Saints, but they also have a lot of money, unsimilarly to the Saints. That being said, Zach Wilson, I don't like him. I don't think he's that good. Pro Day, phenomenal. It was awesome. You get to the league, see what happens. Like, I mean, even in his days in college football at BYU, he was talking all that talk. He was trying to be some guy who's jawing off and trying to be funny, but he's just, no, I'd rather have Derek Carr over Zach Wilson, and I think that most of y'all would agree with me on that. Yeah, Zach's younger, maybe he has more athletic talent or athletic ability, but I just don't think Zach Wilson would be a fit here in New Orleans. Plus, the dude strikes me as somebody who likes to party, and there's no better party than in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, so probably not a good fit. Last two guys, I'm going to show y'all back-to-back, Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. Andy Dalton is going to be a free agent this offseason. He's a name that you could go and bring back to have the continuity, the familiarity with the scheme, the familiarity with the offense. And I think that is a reason why Andy Dalton is a realistic option if Derek Carr signs elsewhere. I don't see a ton of teams having a huge market to go and get Andy Dalton. I feel like he might be one of those quarterbacks who gets added later on in the offseason or later on towards the end of free agency or as we get closer to the regular season. And Jameis Winston, he's on the roster right now. If it doesn't work out, you definitely have the ability to run it back with Jameis. I personally would like it. I just like Jameis Winston. I like him as a football player. I like him as a culture guy and as a locker room guy and as a leader. He definitely had the team bought in on him. I just know for a fact, and Dennis Allen doesn't want to run it back with Jameis. If he wanted to give Jameis a shot, he would have put him in towards the end of the season. But it'd be like that sometimes. Thank you, J-Bo. I appreciate you, but might be the end of your time here in New Orleans, unfortunately. I want you guys to let me know, though, who do you want to be quarterback one in 2023? If you want to get absolutely crazy with it and say, like, Joe Burrow or Drew Brees or Vince Young, I don't care. Like, if you want to get just absolutely crazy, have some fun with it, go at it. But also give me a realistic one. Like, let me know in the comment section, who do you want to be the Saints quarterback in 2023? All right. Let's see what y'all are saying. Larry says he wants Justin Fields. Larry also said facts trace during the segment. Gotta love Cameron Jordan offseason plan of action. Solo, I love it because it's quite literally what I've been saying this entire offseason. Every video that I've made of free agency additions, free agent targets, draft targets, trade, whatever, it all lines up exactly with what Cameron Jordan's been saying. And that just makes me very happy that Cam Jordan watches our show. It's pretty cool. All right. Justin Fields from Larry. Jimmy G from Peyton. Jimmy G and Carr are better than these bums from Courtney. Winston from Swack Fan. Peyton. Jimmy G. Crazy who dat. Carr. Our quarterback outlook is so meh from Die. It is. It's meh. But we could turn meh into not bad, if we make something happen and start moving money around a little bit quicker. We'll see how it pans out. Paperboy, Justin Fields. Courtney, Derek Carr. Hector, let's get Derek Carr. Chris, Freedom of God, Derek Carr. One Crazy Who Dat, Derek Carr. We also got a super chat, I believe, that came in. If it's working. There we go. Philip Avery. Hey, shout out Philip. Philip, I got a little didn't tell the bosses, but I got a little bit of a whiskey coke in here, so I'm just gonna take a sip for you. Did somebody try to shadow ban our super chats? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Also, real quick. I just want to give a shout out to my guy, producer Patrick Seatman. Pop yourself up on here, Seeps. I mean, this is my boy. This is my dog. Everyone welcome Seeps to the Who Dat Nation.
It's good to be here, guys.
PS for Patrick Seeps, or Patrick Seatman. He is an absolute legend. He's a total real one. One of my homies. We tear it up in Dallas quite often. We kind of the dynamic duo here at Chat Sports. He's going to be producing our Saints lives. I'm going to be producing his Vikings lives. You're going to see a ton of us together. So get used to it. He ain't going anywhere because I get to call the shots on my show, and he's sticking around. So
and if you guys want to help me out, get those questions in there. Use hashtag Saints on my end. Pulls it. And then also super chat. You're getting top priority. I'm putting you on the top of the list. Whatever you guys want Trace to talk about, Derek Carr, other quarterback options, whatever it may be, you send in a super chat. He's going to hook you up. He's going to give a full breakdown of it.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good time, man. All right. Seth is typing PS. Chris is typing PS. Dalton's typing PS. Thomas says welcome. Peyton says hi. Thank y'all, Who Dat Nation, for welcoming my boy Patrick Seatman to the squad, to the channel, to the gang. He's been around for a little bit. Y'all haven't seen a ton of him because we've been trying to kind of keep him a little bit of a secret because we're having a little bit of fun. We have a lot of fun here at the office.
It's just the beginning, guys.
It's just the beginning. Yeah, last week when we got $250 in super chats, I mean, God loves Seatman. He helped me get home. He helped me get home. He made sure I had me some food. He made sure I had a po' boy at home waiting for me. Made sure the Tony seasoning was filled up. The dude's a real one. The dude's a real one. I'm a big fan of what Patrick Seatman has done here at the company. He's an absolute legend. All right. How are we on questions?
We are pretty solid. Just remember the ad pin first 4 minutes. I'll get you there.
Cool. All right. Guys, keep on getting your hashtag Saints and super chats in. Get on the show. It's an easy way for you to help out the show. It's an easy way for us to interact with you. Easy way for me to get to know you guys. An easy way for y'all to get to know me. We cannot pull your question unless you use hashtag Saints or super chat. The system, the graphics, our software, it ain't working like that. Patrick Seatman can, but the software can't. Patrick's smarter than the software, if you're not picking up what I'm saying. But yeah, help us out. Use hashtag Saints just like Woozy Terry did. So, Die Jackal, use hashtag Saints and give us that take of Taysom Hill, definitely my favorite player. Use that take, man. Use hashtag Saints and throw that in there. All right. Without further ado, let's break down some questions. Let's take all your questions in. Let's get into our mailbag. Oh, we got a $5 super chat from Mikey. We can start with that. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, that's what you were saying. I didn't. You're like, let's start. I was like, oh no, cool. Let's go. All right, bet. All right. Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Jordan. We are answering your questions. Who Dat Nation, y'all have questions, I got answers, and we're going to break it all down for you. Be sure to like this video. Let's get to 1,000 likes on today's video. The bosses said it couldn't be done, but I think that it can. I trust the Who Dat Nation. Hit the thumbs up icon. Without further ado, let's start answering your questions. All right. Mikey Taylor, $5 super chat. Trace, will the Saints try and replace Will Lutz? See, my thing about Will Lutz is we called him Clutch Lutz for a while. He was a really good kicker for a handful of years. He missed some time with an injury. He missed almost the entire season. But this year, 100% on extra points. That's fine. 74.2 percentage in regular field goal percentage. His long was 60 yards. I just want to see more consistency at the kicking position. I could see them running it back with him. I could see them trying to go and get somebody new. Honestly, I think that they try and replace him, but if they don't, they bring him back because at the end of the day, you might actually have to pay him a little bit of money, a little bit more than you're wanting to right now, and probably go get some cheaper who's a little bit younger. Next question. Thank you, Mikey, by the way, for your super chat and supporting the channel. Nolan Nick, he's asking, should the Saints sign Saquon Barkley? Sure, why not? That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun having Saquon, Alvin Kamara, 1-2 punch. That'd be pretty badass, wouldn't it? Realistically, though, I think the Giants are going to throw the bag at Saquon. I think they're going to pay him everything and then some. I don't see the Saints being in the market to go and get Saquon Barkley. And also, I'll tell you why I don't think the Saints should go and pay Saquon. I don't necessarily think that paying big money to a running back makes a ton of sense a lot of the times, because running backs, you can rotate them through very, very often. Every few years, you can get a new running back in. When you have a special talent like Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, or guys like that, you obviously invest in it and you keep them around. But I don't think that you invest a lot of money in 2 running backs. You definitely don't do it with 1. You most definitely don't do it with 2 running backs. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. You could probably get somebody a little bit cheaper who doesn't have the injury history in the. Let me know. Should the Saints sign Saquon Barkley? Type S for sign, type P for pass. You might get hit with the YouTube ad break here. So if you do. All right, $10 super chat coming in from Mr. Leroy. I'm a Raiders fan, but also a Derek Carr fan. I never have had a bunch of faith in Dennis Allen. I'm scared he isn't long for the head coach position. How do you see it? How do you, as a Saints fan, see Dennis Allen? I don't like Dennis Allen. I don't think he's a good coach. I think that he's a phenomenal coordinator. I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I think he's one of the smarter defensive coordinators in the league. But that being said, if you take a look at any of the teams who found, what were those schemes like? Were those coaching units, were they offensively minded or were they defensively minded? My point being, I don't think Dennis Allen can get to the make a deep postseason run without major help and without a lot stronger of coaching from Pete Carmichael, since he's going to be offensive coordinator this year. I don't necessarily think Dennis Allen is he doesn't do a good job of being an advocate or not an advocate, but he doesn't do a good job of giving a lot of connecting with the players and discipline. He doesn't stick to it. He doesn't keep the team accountable. That's what I was trying to get at. He isn't keeping the team accountable. He's letting penalties go by. He's saying, hey, Andy, after 2 pick sixes in less than a minute, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, no, that's stuff that doesn't happen. I'm not crazy on Dennis Allen. I think there's a reason he only lasted a handful of games as the head coach for the Raiders and why he spent so long as a defensive coordinator. That's just my take. I don't know. But let me know. If you like Dennis Allen, type L for like, type D for dislike. Seth Centipede, should we draft a running back with our first-round pick? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to a running back for the same reason I said no to signing Saquon Barkley. Because I think that there's needs that are more important, like defensive line. I think if you use your first-round pick on a defensive lineman or a quarterback, that's probably the best way to use that pick. I don't think that you're gonna. Plus, if you watch the channel, you know my thoughts. Tyjae Spears is my number 1 running back target. I understand that he's not running back 1 in the draft class, but if you look at his highlights, if you look at what he did in the Cotton Bowl, if you look at what he did at the Senior Bowl, the dude is a football player through and through. He does nothing but ball out, and that is why I want a guy like Tyjae Spears. You can go get him in the 2nd, 3rd, probably even the 4th round. Like, the crazy thing is you might be able to get a game-changing running back late in the draft. And Alvin Kamara, he wasn't a first-round pick. He turned out to be pretty good. So my point being, I think you should go address defensive line or quarterback with the first-round pick. I definitely think you draft a running back, just not with the first round. Next question from Slick Wick. That's my dog. Nice. Hashtag Saints. Saw some buzz around signing Baker Mayfield. If we miss on Derek Carr, what are your thoughts? That's my thoughts. Baker would be a good guy for the culture. I think he'd buy into New Orleans. I think he'd buy into Louisiana. I think he'd buy into what the team is trying to do. He's just not the player that he once was when he was at Oklahoma. And he isn't the guy who a lot of people were impressed in 2020. I think that he's a good football player. Baker's one of those guys who should be on a roster. And if you disagree with me, I encourage you to name 31 other quarterbacks that you would definitely rather run with than Baker Mayfield. I just can't, because I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than a Sam Darnold or than a Zach Wilson, something like that. It's just my point being, Baker Mayfield is all right. I don't think that he's really somebody who can win you a lot of games. And I think that he's somebody you get 6-7 wins out of, but you're not going to get a good draft pick with that. You're also not going to make a playoff run with that. The NFC is horrendously weak, especially the NFC South. I think you go get another quarterback, try and avoid Baker Mayfield. I think he'd be fun. I mean, the fact that he's busting up his head because he's getting amped up on the sidelines, that's cool. He's a football guy through and through. I just don't know necessarily if he is the greatest player. I don't know. But we do mailbags as a part of our live shows, and the mailbags are only for our subscribers. So if you want to be a part of the next mailbag, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you're notified, 1, when we go live and when we talk about the latest Saints news and rumors, and 2, whenever we post a video throughout the week. That way you can stay updated. You never miss any buzz. You never miss any updates. Subscribe, lock us in, and join the Who Dat Nation today. We're trying to beat our Vikings channel to 15,000 subscribers. Help us out. Subscribe today. All right, Peyton Reidman saying, no, not that I've seen. I haven't seen any buzz around that happening. He did coach. He did coach with Purdue in their bowl game. They got boat raced, if you didn't see that. Drew Brees certainly would be fun to be a quarterback coach. Has not gotten any sort of, I haven't seen any legitimate buzz around it though. So unfortunately, Peyton, the answer is no. Eric D, hope the D is for Daniels. Do you think that there's a world where we pull off a DeAndre Hopkins trade? Sure, sir. In the NFL multiverse, there's definitely somewhere that could happen. I mean, there's enough alternate realities where that could definitely be the case. The Saints definitely need a wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins. They need somebody who's going to make a lot of contested catches and a lot of. He's going to be a gamer. He's going to, take people away, take attention away. DeAndre Hopkins immediately comes in as your wide receiver 1. Makes you feel a lot better about losing Michael Thomas. I think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be expensive, man. He's going to be very, very expensive, and I just don't know if the Saints want to go and do that. I think you can invest some draft capital in wide receiver. Go sign a guy in free agency. Excuse me. I just don't know if the Saints would go and trade for him because it would be pretty costly, and they don't necessarily have a ton of trade assets to give away that could probably get DeAndre Hopkins. As unfair as it sounds, or as unfortunate as it sounds. But I want you to let me know. I'm not the GM. I want you to be the GM. Should the Saints go and trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let me know down in the comment section because I'm curious. I'm going to be in the comments. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. I'm going to be chopping it up with y'all and interacting with you guys. All right. Next one coming in from Parker Hayes, my homie from Fort Worth. What's up, brother? I would love if we get wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. What do you think about him or even the running back Eric Gray, both from Oklahoma? All right, so Marvin Mims Jr., I talked about him, I think last week, actually. Yeah, 54 receptions, 1,083 yards, 6 touchdowns, 20 yards per catch. The junior out of Frisco, about 5'11", 184 pounds. Marvin Mims could be pretty freaking solid in the Saints offense. That you could maybe have fill in as a pass catcher, as somebody who can make some contested catches, somebody who can do a lot in open space with the ball in their hands. And as for Eric Gray, I know the Saints definitely need some running back help because you're going to have to you're not going to bring back, Mark Ingram in free agency. You're also not going to re-sign David Johnson. Eno Benjamin is also like a free agent on the roster. Eric Gray, though, 5'10", 211 pounds, senior out of Memphis, Tennessee. The kid had 213 carries, 1,366 yards, 11 touchdowns, 6 yards per carry. It's pretty impressive, and I'm going to take a look to see what his receiving numbers look like, and he could put up receiving numbers. Nothing sticks out off at first glance when I'm looking at it. Against Oklahoma State, 3 receptions for 30 yards, no touchdowns, but I think that the Saints definitely have a need at running back, and I think that if you miss out on a guy like Tyjae Spears, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, I'd like to see the Saints go and explore Eric Gray from Oklahoma. I definitely would. Thank you for your question, Parker. Appreciate you. Last question coming in from Dalton Smith. If Anthony Richardson falls at the 29th pick, should the Saints draft Anthony Richardson? All right, so my thoughts on Anthony Richardson, y'all might not like this. No. I think Hendon Hooker's better. I think Hendon Hooker's a better quarterback. I mean, Anthony Richardson at 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a QBR 71.2, 54 completion percentage. He also went multiple weeks in a row, like 3-4 weeks in a row with no passing touchdowns. A lot of people don't think about that. And that's something to me that says a lot. And I just don't like that Anthony Richardson's getting a ton of hype. I feel like that he is the guy. He's the Malik Willis of this year's draft, if this makes sense. He's getting a lot of buzz. He's getting a lot of hype. People are trying to boost his name because he has freak athletic talent. But can he be a good quarterback? Hendon Hooker, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 135 yards, 89.5 QBR. And on top of all of that, he had a completion percentage of just under 70. In his 5 years of college, he had less than 10 interceptions. The most interceptions he had in a year was 5. I think Hendon Hooker is a much better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Obviously, Hendon Hooker did tear his ACL. He got hurt. There is that injury concern. But modern medicine has come a very long way. ACL injuries don't determine your NFL career anymore. You remember a guy named Frank Gore? He tore his ACL his senior year in college. He played in the NFL for a handful of years. Just saying. I think that Anthony Richardson is a good football player. I just don't know if I want the Saints to go and get him. I think that you go and explore Hendon Hooker a little bit more. But Dalton, I really appreciate the question. And guys, thank y'all everyone for tuning in. If you want to support the channel, an easy way to do that is by subscribing and turning on your notifications. That way you never miss a thing. That way you stay notified, and that way you stay in the loop of all things New Orleans Saints. Who Dat Nation, it's always a pleasure. Y'all stay golden. I'll catch you next time. All right, 3 segs in the chamber. 3 segs down, 0 to go. We're going to do a quick little shot clock. Our goal is to get to $100 in Super Chats. We're at 17. If we can get to $100 in Super Chats, I'd cry. Just kidding. If we get $100, I'll bring Abby in here. We'll do a beer chug. We'll do like a little beer bong race or something. Or Seeps maybe even wants to do a shot fun race. We have the little psh, psh. You chug them. It's fucking sick. So I'm going to set a 2-minute timer starting now. Any Super Chat that comes in, we're going to pop up on the screen. If we don't get any Super Chats, we're going to go ahead and sign off and get on out of here. Got a little bit more work to do. But honestly, if you guys want to hang out, support the channel, send a Super Chat, feel free to ask questions. We're going to still answer those. But if you want us to stick around, you got to send a Super Chat in the next 2 minutes. Honestly, if we can't get someone like Hendon Hooker, I kind of like the quarterback from Fresno State, Jake Haener. I talked about Jake Haener one time, and a lot of people were in the comment section not happy about that. It was because I said that I would like Jake Haener over Jaren Hall, the quarterback out of BYU. I just think Jaren Hall might be another Zach Wilson 2.0 minus the mom situation. I don't know. This quarterback class, like one thing last year, and you guys can tell me if you disagree with this. Last year, I had quarterback drafts ruined for me because at this point, I don't know what to trust of who's like a really good prospect, who's really solid. Because I remember some mock drafts having Malik Willis going in the top 5, top 10. And that was just like, why? Like, that's dumb. It's so dumb. Quarterback draft stuff has gotten difficult, especially with like the combine and how much people, grade that. Courtney, $10. Gonna take a sip of my whiskey Coke for you. Appreciate you, Courtney. Damn, it's cold. Courtney, $10. Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate you. I hope that you follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at TraceGirouard48. I'm gonna do a real quick thing before we sign off. Here's the thing. All right, we got 15 seconds left on our shot clock. If we can get another $10 super chat here in the next few seconds, we'll stay live a little bit longer. Otherwise, we'll hop out. I'm going to put the links to my Twitter and my Instagram into the chat, and I want y'all to go and follow me if you guys are active on Twitter and on IG. Courtney, I appreciate the $10 super chat. Thank you for supporting what we're doing here at Saints Now. It really means the world. It really means a lot, and we couldn't do it without you. So hit me up on Twitter and on IG. I'll give y'all some shout-outs as y'all do that. Links at the top, or the links on top are the Twitter, the ones on the bottom. So my buddy Eric Daniels, he's tuned in. He just texted me. He goes, Baker Mayfield is not it. I agree. Don't give me Baker. Hey, Eric, if you're still watching, remember when Baker dragged it all over Tech, though? That was hilarious. And then do you remember when he got arrested in Fayetteville? That was hilarious. That was good times. Anyway, all right, we're going to do a quick 10-second shot call, or 10-second countdown. Any super chats will keep us live. Otherwise, we're out of here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gonna give a quick second for those of y'all watching on delay, while I say my thank yous and my goodbyes. Who Dat Nation? Oh, Daniel May signed Max Crosby in free agency. That'd be interesting. He's pretty good. He's a damn good football player. Have some familiarity with Derek Carr. That'd be cool. Anyway, Who Dat Nation, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate it for y'all for tuning in. All 1,300 of you guys who watched today's live stream. Thank y'all. I hope you guys subscribed. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you guys want to keep up with me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TraceJard48. It's the same handle on both. Who Dat Nation, it is always a pleasure. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We're out. Peace.